Netflix show Can't Cope, Won't Cope. So basically, this is the best Netflix show I've seen that has referenced something personal to me. And the reason why is because this literally defines what you know about people, what you know about P people, how P people do have masks, but they don't have really heavy masks that you think there are, how complex life is, how literally two people can share two separate lives to literally be the same person is literally what Can't Cope, Won't Cope is. So what is the origin of Can't Cope, Won't Cope? So what is Cope? Cope was something when I was doing at summer camp is when there was a program for Boy Scouts to literally go out and do more with their life. You know, seriously. So you get to go ziplining, you get to do this and that. So Cope is basically a higher form of a Boy Scout in summer camp where you could do extra programs, where you could go on extra field trips that they don't normally provide in summer camp. But the great part about Cope is the reason why it was so funny is because there was this girl named Karen that was a scoutmaster at Scout Camp, and this is literally the funniest shit that I've seen. So basically it was like this. So Cope goes like this. So they break the rules like this. This rule is for literally agreement. This literally rule is for, teamwork. And this finger, she went down to each and every finger, and the middle finger meant respect. It was so fucking funny. I was laughing with my friend Nathan at the cabin. I'm like, bro, you did Cope? He's like, oh yeah, respect. It's like, bro, literally, there's this kid who went up to Karen and we're like, Karen, I respect you. It was so fucking funny. I was dead. It literally, so Can't Cope, Won't Cope was literally the funniest shit I've seen on Netflix. So Can't Cope, Won't Cope is literally about a girl named Ashley and her best friend Danielle. They were college graduates that moved out of the country and literally got good paying jobs. They were both in corporate offices, but the biggest problem is they both like to party. And when they party, it backfired on Ashley, but then backfired on Danielle. But Danielle was mostly supported by Ashley. So Ashley had this thing where she wanted to party, and she was reminiscing about a bad time she had with a young one, a very loved one in the past. So the craziest thing about Ashley is she goes out and she parties, and she's always partying, but there was this one episode where she got in trouble with the police where literally she was being too drunk and she literally did not get what the normal pussy pass provide you in America. So she was in a different country. They handle things a different way in a different country. And that's the best part about the show. It shows you how different countries act, but how they're very similar. So the corporate office was way bigger than the natural corporate offices in America. And that's one thing that this show has. So Ashley literally fucked up. And so because she got the criminal activity, they couldn't trust her at her job. And that was the worst part about Can't Cope, Won't Cope, is that she got fired after all those years. Even after all that foundation is in this country, they didn't let her fly, and she was too drunk. And because she was in criminal activity, she lost her job. And before that happened, she was getting really, really, really fed up with disagreeing with her friend Danielle. So she went on a train, and literally, so she tried to tell Danielle the story afterwards. And so Danielle, being in a consistent relationship, relied on Ashley, and she was devastated. So Danielle broke up with Ashley, and that is this literally the difference between the relationship in the whole series. So Danielle was literally so crazy because she was so disappointed in Ashley, but Ashley had a reason to go out and party, and this time it backfired on her and Lily. So one little mistake destroyed their whole friendship because Danielle was relying on Ashley for rent. So literally, Danielle pulled this technique where she literally said, Ashley, I can't hang with you until you get your shit together. So literally, Danielle literally pulled the most bitch baby move. Even though Danielle is literally going out with a guy that pretends he's gay, that literally does gay tendencies, and, so it was crazy. So at the club, they're separated. Like, Ashley's trying to cope with her, literally, her losing her job. It literally sucked so much. And literally, so what happened is she was married to somebody in the United States, and she went back to literally her foreign country to literally try to, get back with her husband. Not really get back with him, but literally reminisce on old times and see if she can get a better position in her country. So literally what happened was this. She visited, and so Danielle and Ashley have this thing where in season 2, they really, really, really start fussing and fighting, and they can't really get along because of what happened with Ashley's job. It literally sucks so much. So season 2 comes along after she gets fired in season 1. So Danielle and Ashley still break up. But they get back together after Ashley getting her job back through the form of playing multiple men and getting a sugar daddy to literally, if you will, help pay for rent. So basically, that sugar daddy was still married, and he had an affair with Ashley. He didn't tell Ashley, so Ashley's also trying to play her ex-husband, and her ex-husband lives in the United States. So here's what happened. So basically, Ashley's parents, Danielle's parents, told Ashley Danielle to make up, so they get back together. And so on the side, when season 2 starts, Danielle actually gets with a guy who looks a whole lot like Toshio Hitsugaya, literally from the foreign country. She gets into a new relationship, and she loves this new relationship, but they're still falling flat with Ashley. So this guy is literally coping with Danielle, and he's understanding where Danielle's coming from, and he's learning more about, you know, the relationship between her and Ashley a whole lot along the way. So what brings Danielle and Ashley together is their parents bring them back to the country of America and tell them to make up. So basically, so Ashley goes back and forth to countries, and literally she goes back to the country and she lands another corporate job, and it literally is so crazy. And the best part about the show is that it has an animated opening. Unlike Atypical, that's literally very graphic, even though it's somewhat animated. This is an actual 2D animated opening. It has a really good visual that really gives you the feel of what the show's about. I love Can't Cope World Cup because it's based off my love to party, my addiction for nightclubs, literally. Every single thing that's crazy about Can't Cope World Cup is what I went through, and the fact that they reference summer camp is crazy, but the greatest thing about this is the complexity of what Ashley's role is. Ashley is very beautiful and she loves to party, and she literally has a whole foundational responsibility, but what happened was it got to the point where it got out of hand. So here's what happened. So season 2 comes along, and Ashley plays this other guy that's at her job, who she's not really interested in, but this guy is basically based off of Clark Raker in the United States. So this guy literally eggs Ashley on, literally tries so hard to get with her, tries so hard to get with her parents. Well, he already has like a somewhat relationship on the side, so people are hating Ashley when she lands this new job at a corporate office after she plays another sugar daddy, after she already, like, literally plays her ex-husband in the United States. So Ashley is literally the best character in the show, but Danielle is literally a top contender, because what I love about Danielle is not only did she go out with a guy that looks a whole lot like Toshio Hitsugaya, that literally, that guy literally inspired me because he's so cool and he's so different. So it's a big parallel. So Danielle is going out with a guy with blue eyes, and the guy that Ashley is going out with has brown hair and blue eyes, but the guy who Danielle is going out with has white hair and blue eyes, which is why I keep on saying, stop spamming Toshio Hitsugaya. So basically, the reason why I love this show is because they're both opposites, but they're really, really, really alike. But really, Danielle pretends to be the opposite when Ashley literally is on the same level as her. So what happens is Danielle gets proud of Ashley, so Ashley literally figures out that she's having an affair technically, and literally she's participating in the affair technically, but the greatest part about this is literally what happens is this. So there are people who target Ashley at her new job, but they don't target her right away. So here's what happens. So the guy who's jealous of Ashley, he's jealous because she actually has a personality. She's not just beauty, she worked hard for her degree, but it's also really, really, really bad because that guy is a crime breaker. He doesn't read social skills around, and he doesn't know women at all. So here's what happened is, so basically what happens is, the guy who's based off of Clark Wanker that literally is so fucking lame compared to Danielle's crazy ass new boyfriend is literally the reason why we have so much fuck shit in America. So what happens is this: after I reanalyze the series and realize that Ashley got set up at her new job, what happens is this: she lands a good corporate job after just getting fired from her last job, and what they do with Ashley is they say that this is impossible. There's no way this girl looks that good and is able to call us out on our bullshit using street code and is still able to keep her job. And literally, so that is literally how a lot of people treat me in society. There's no way that this guy is a jack of all trades. There's no reason why he can watch anime and also pull a girl. There's no fucking reason. There's no fucking way he can do all these different talents in America when I don't waste time and I practice hard for things. And that's the thing with the human mind is you have to understand is this took a long time for me to master. I mastered each trait individually, and this is also the problem that Ashley has. It's not prominent in the show, but it's very prominent in me in my real life. So also, what happened was this. So when that guy got another relationship with somebody that Ashley was literally, really, flagrantly disagreeing with, so Ashley literally has mental breakdowns for great reasons in the show. She tries to help people that already say that they don't want her help. And this is a problem that I had in the past, but she says it for the right reason, but in everybody's mind, she's just a blonde slut who's a drunk. But no, she's a very intelligent person, but people give her shit after shit after shit, and they expect her to cope with it. It's just like, no, I just can't. And that's the whole meaning of the show. Is the whole point, like, it seems like there's just two people who are literally just drunken idiots that literally are the standard people who graduate college that still think they're young when they're not. No, they are very intelligent and they know a full situation. You know why? Because they have to manipulate their environment in order for them to catch them. And literally, so what happens is this, is like, when she lands the job, she's doing good, she has a good fresh start. So the chronic ranker literally tries to destroy Ashley as soon as he, even though he acts like a she, realizes that she sees through every single situation. So what he does is he gets an outer opinion for somebody who works at the job to single Ashley out. So here's what happened. They scheduled Ashley for a day for a meeting, but really she was cornered in a trap before she even knew she was in a trap. So here's what happened is, even the boss was jealous of Ashley. What happened was the chronic ranker scheduled a day for Ashley to have a meeting when he already had a relationship. So what he did was he fucked up in Ashley's personal life and he made Ashley dread for a night. And she's like, man, this is so fucking horrible. I can't believe what this guy did to me. And so literally, so what happens is she comes into her corporate office knowing that she has a meeting. So what happens is the chronic ranker literally asks her a stupid question right before she has the meeting. But the meeting is literally, here's the big surprise. So the end of this season 2 was really, really dreadful for Ashley because here's what happened. So here's what happened. So literally, Ashley literally went upstairs and the chronic ranker starts asking her questions, acting so fucking stupid. She can tell that he's just jealous because he can't get with her. So he gets with his girlfriend that's whack as fuck. And they start destroying Ashley's personal life. And you know how they say in America, oh, you can't let your personal life get in the way of work, even though they're hitting you at very personal angles that literally you have to react to because it's humanly impossible not to be. It's impossible not to get frustrated at what these guys are doing because they're hitting you where it's personal spot and society tells you to keep control. So what Ashley does is this: is she tries to delay the meeting because the chronic ranker teamed up with this girl that was jealous of Ashley for being more than just beautiful, and they literally tried to hit her with shit after shit, and Ashley kept on delaying the meeting. So on paper, Ashley fucked up because she kept on trying to tell the boss, there's 1 minute, okay, but she's accepting all this time. She accepts Ashley's slang, she accepts everything of the job until this last day because this is how you know the boss is jealous of her. So the meeting was happening, and so she keeps on delaying, and she's like, you can't fucking do this, you cunt. Literally. So Ashley literally kept on trying to tell him, you can't do this, you can't get in my personal life. And it literally was so fucking dreadful for Ashley. So what happens is when she finally gets into the meeting after Lily almost crying her eyes out for what he was doing to her personally, literally, this is how you know he was a fucking loser. So what happened was this: when she finally got into the meeting, there was nobody there. And so the boss was gonna fire her from the very start. And she literally was like, she was her literally, the face literally turned red. She literally got so fucking angry, and she's like, what the fuck? And it literally destroyed the entire meaning of why she got that job. And so basically what they tried to say through street code is like, you know you fucked up, Ashley, you know you did this and that. When they manipulated the situation and the boss didn't have her back anyway, and that meeting was specifically to say you're fired, but she literally tried to sugarcoat it to the fact when she gave Ashley ammo to keep on making excuses. So you know you couldn't delay that meeting, like you know you're not supposed to get in my personal life. So basically it didn't matter how many complex angles they came at Ashley. They say, Ashley, you're fired. And she got fired at the end of the second season. And that was really so dreadful. And this is really teaching you a lesson about how people act, how people set people up. Ashley didn't deserve that shit. But this happened in an even stricter country when the laws are even more strict. In America, she probably could have passed by, especially with some social connections. But what they did is they manipulated who worked there so literally they can get Ashley fired again. And that is the story of Can't Cope, Rope Cope.